Yeah, because our office is right there on it.
No, and we are live on the Love Gurus podcast. Thank you for being here. People, sorry we are late, but we are going to take ridiculous dating questions from the wild animals on Reddit starting right now.
You think your love life is going kind of bad?
It is the goddamn worst.
If you find out your girlfriend accidentally banged your dad.
That would be bad.
Yup. She's a
You
troll.
think your romance maybe ain't the norm. If you find out your fiance has been slipping it to your mom.
What?
Horny parents. Horny parents.
Just ask the love guru
Oh, thank you.
to tell you what.
Still the reason why I got a fiance, so I can
Listen
justify
to
those
the
incest
guru, or your
made
life
this
is
song?
screwed.
This is Joel on YouTube. Thank you, Joel, as always.
Yeah,
For
Joel.
the song. You are the fucking man. We are the Love Gurus podcast. Thank you for being here. We are going to take ridiculous dating questions from the wild animals on Reddit. We are drinking some, what are we drinking tonight? Octave Vino Verde to get you some. Do you want a delicious Vino Verde to brighten your dating show? Of course you do. You can't do better than Octave. I'm actually taking a break from drinking right now, so I'm just sticking to the Monster here. But it looks good. No, I had some of that last night, but I was blackout drunk when I drank it, so I don't really remember. Is it good?
It's a very, I would say it's a very light, well, it's a Portuguese one, and as we've said on this podcast before, you know, Portuguese and the Kiwis down under, you know, they're pretty solid when it comes to wine. So again, this is another solid Portuguese wine.
Damn right.
It's
Get your
quite
Vino Verde
enjoyable.
from down under. What's up?
It's enjoyable.
Dude, I kind of remember
I'm
it being
having
good.
a good time.
It's
Yeah.
cold.
Octave
That's great.
Vino Verde, get you some. Now let's introduce our two awesome guests.
Yeah.
First up, he is a returning guest, a hilarious stand-up comic, Mr. Justin Auslaender. Thank you for being back on the show.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely, man. Tell them where they can find you.
Oh, you can find me at Justin Outlander, and you can listen to me on a podcast that I have, Two Dry Guys. Please listen.
Two
Sorry
dry
for
guys.
plugging on yours, but you know.
There you go. There you go, man. Yeah, absolutely. No, only our podcast gets talked about on this podcast.
We long for the day that we're on another podcast to plug our podcast.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean
Yeah.
that's a
Well,
goal
if you
of
like
ours.
drinking, come on mine.
Yeah, I usually do, man. I'm trying to stay sober before I go to Montreal. I'm going to Just for Laughs, people. That's right.
Oh, yeah.
But I got to get skinny. I mean, I'm not going to get skinny, but, you know, less fat.
You
I have to get less fat.
You're gonna try and do the Kim Kardashian 17 pounds in 3 hours sort of diet? Is that
Goddamn right. I'm going to have sex with Kanye West and then get surgery.
Do you have to? Why
gonna
do you
be
have,
awesome.
Why do you have to be less fat?
I don't. I don't know, man. You know, I just because I'm like
Pride.
I'm already aging
I
terribly.
think the
so
Canadians are pretty nice. Nobody's gonna mention it.
they won't mention it, but they'll silently judge me and not give me a show. But let me introduce our second guest, man. She is also a returning guest, another hilarious stand-up comic, Cindy Beveridge. Thank you for being back on the show.
Oh, thank you.
Absolutely. Tell the good people where they can find you.
Oh, I guess occasionally on, let's see, at Nerdplay on Twitter or
Nice.
at Sid
Nice.
Bev Graham on the Graham.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, great
Easy
handle.
to spell. Yeah. So.
Yeah.
Thanks.
But yeah, it's I mean, it is, as everyone knows, the world is going through a heat wave. Well, not the world, but definitely the United States and the UK. Candles are melting in plain sight. So
Dude, a
that-
tarmac in Germany melted.
Yeah,
A fucking tarmac.
yeah.
Wow.
Like,
It's,
if you put that in a movie about global warming, I would, if I'm in the writer's room, I'm like, that's too fucking cheesy, dude.
I know. I think maybe that the first time that they pitched that to Dennis Quaid, he was like, "Listen, guys,
Yeah.
okay, we'll have a scene where my son is buried in snow in the New York Public Library, but tarmac lighting on fire.
Yeah.
That's too much."
You're going to have to call my brother Randy for that crazy bullshit. I'm not doing it. I'm Dennis. I'm the sane one.
But yeah, it's hot. It's hot. So again,
Absolutely.
thank
Great
all of
movie
you for
reference.
listening. And yeah, but we're excited for the show. I would say that if there is a theme for our show today, it's I would say cheating. I would say
Cheating.
cheating.
Ooh, that's
yeah.
why I'm here.
Oh, it's juicy today.
This is a juicy podcast where everyone who in this podcast or on this podcast right now is in a relationship. So we're gonna give you the goss on how to cheat or not cheat, if that's your so preferred.
Damn straight. Let's take our first insane cheating dating question from the wild animals on Reddit. People, if you got questions to write them to loveguruspodcast@yahoo.com, or even better, watch live every single Thursday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern on YouTube. Give us your comments, give us your chat. Oh, speaking of chats, Joel on YouTube says, Suzanne hammering, harmonizing with me on Jingle, I Can Die a Happy Man.
Wow.
Wow.
Or
Joel,
you sleep without snoring.
You are the only person who's ever said that my singing voice, quote unquote, harmonizes with anything. I mean, even my Catholic priest growing up was like, you know. And,
Joel on YouTube says, weather wasn't bad today. It was only 112 at 1:30.
Wow.
There you go.
Is Joel in Texas? Where's
I
Joel
think it's
at?
at
You guys
Tennessee.
know? Oh,
Yeah,
Oh, my
Tennessee.
God.
Yep.
Wow.
No, that's like a mountainous, you know. So at least I don't think it's too humid in the mountains, right?
I think it depends.
You can get up
Depends where you are.
Probably,
Yeah.
Probably depends, yeah. But anyway, enough of these weather questions, because I don't have any answers for that. I have none. Let's take dating questions from the wild animals on Reddit.
First question. I keep finding my my sister in my bedroom watching my husband sleep. I'm 32.
Oh.
I'm 32 and my sister is 30. She's been visiting a lot lately to talk about her issues with her husband. She visits around the time that my husband takes a nap in the bedroom. She'll usually sit with me in the living room, but when I excuse myself to go into the kitchen and make her tea or coffee, I later find her in the bedroom, standing where my husband is sleeping. This has happened twice before, and she just would stand near him. When I asked her what she was doing, she'd say that she was just looking for something. First time I believed her, second time I was hesitant, but now she's done it for a third time. I just stopped believing that this was coincidence. I couldn't make sense of this, even after I asked her that she insisted she was looking for a charger, etc., etc. She sat down with me, drank her coffee, and left shortly thereafter. My husband is asleep at this time, so obviously he has no idea what's going on. And, oh, by the way, we've only been married for 5 months, so my husband is still getting used to my family and vice versa.
I'm sure this is going to help a lot.
Am I missing something?
Yeah, a few screws.
So to give a quick synopsis, these women, the sister comes over, and the sister is apparently having problems with her own husband. So whilst the one sister is making tea or coffee, she goes into the bedroom and stares at her sleeping husband. I'm just saying, I've seen this movie. It's an oldie with Julia Roberts.
Yeah.
It doesn't end well.
This
okay?
this has 90s stalker chick movie all over it.
This is, it gets worse. So I'm okay.
The hand that whacks my husband.
Okay, so what do you think the thoughts are that are running through the sister's head as she's watching the husband sleep?
The woman. Okay, the sister who's watching.
Yeah. What do you think the thoughts are running through her head as she watches her brother-in-law sleeping?
I'm going to save my sister by murdering this man.
See, I instantly...
But she hasn't gotten around to it yet. She's taking her time.
Yeah.
Well, she's sussing out the
I
situation.
guess she wants to do it well.
I like that angle. I like that angle because instantly I was thinking, well, she's clearly a creep. So she's sitting there thinking, yeah, sleeping dude. I'm so turned on by sleeping dudes. But I like that she's plotting murder. She's not a sex criminal. She's a violent criminal.
She's trying to save her sister from the eventual problem that she's going to have. Right? She's in a marriage that's bad. So she's like, she's only 5 months in. I can help her.
Yeah.
This guy reminds me of Gary. I'm going to smother him with a pillow.
So Sydney, do you agree? Do you think those are the thoughts going through her head?
Wow. I mean, I feel like maybe I'm thinking too much of my own perspective. I feel like I
do you watch your own husband sleep a lot?
I do fantasize about sleeping and naps quite frequently. So maybe it's just sort of like she gets off watching someone sleep.
You can because to be fair, it does sound like the husband takes a regular nap in the middle of the afternoon every day, which what adult gets to do that? Yeah. Anyway.
I'm operating under this thing where like no woman likes to watch any man get any sleep. You know, so
Yeah.
like she's just watching
Yeah.
him, and she's like, "Look at this motherfucker just sleeping.
That's the murder
Oh.
vibe. Right
Yeah.
there.
Yeah,
That's
murder
He's
vibe.
sleeping like my husband. They all just sleep all the time. Why can't he be doing something?"
See, here's okay.
There's yard work needs doing.
I agree with you on some level. However, what I think is that she is looking at that husband thinking, I picked a bad husband. My sister picked a good husband, and she sort of stood there fantasizing, what if I had married him instead of my husband? Because she's clearly having problems. And the reason why I say that is because she gets caught staring. If it was like a murderous thing, then she would just turn to her sister and be like, "Listen, Carla, just give me the word." It would be like this, like, oh, okay, that's fine. Then we can go in the living room and talk about Bridgerton. But the fact that she gets weird about it and then like quickly finishes her drink and leaves, it's like, does she have guilt? Like, because she's obviously thinking guilty thoughts, or does she have to go run to the car and masturbate because she saw the love of her life taking a nap?
Absolutely. Oh, speaking of the love of my life, I forgot to introduce producer extraordinaire Amy.
Yeah!
Thanks for doing the camera work, crushing it as always. Say hi to the good people.
Whoa!
Yeah, she's way pregnant, dude.
That
Yeah.
belly is totally real. So suck it, Hollywood, and your fake baby bumps. That was real.
Yeah, she's not method acting. It's a real thing. Tyler on YouTube says it's 113 with 13% humidity here
Nice.
in Vegas. Nice. Joel on YouTube says Sis is interested in that tent in the sheets.
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
Joanne on YouTube says she didn't have to write this whole thing. We all know what was going to happen after the first sentence. Tyler on YouTube says it's 2022 90s movie remake. Joel on YouTube says, Sis gonna ride that lump in the sheets. Do-da-do-da-do.
Do-da-do.
Do you think there's a scenario where, like, okay, so I feel a bit of insecurity coming from this sister, right? Do you think her sister's just better looking and maybe she's jealous, or she's concerned? She's concerned that maybe she's going to make a move and her husband won't be able to control himself.
Has a move not been made? Do we know? But yeah,
well,
I
it
guess,
kind of sounds like, because
maybe
you would
not.
assume that if she'd made a move that it would wake the husband up, because she's sort of saying, okay, the husband's completely oblivious to this. But that's a good point, because what if she is just really insecure about her hot sister, and genuinely her sister is in the bedroom looking for a charger, et cetera, and it's like, God damn it, don't you steal another one of my boyfriends? Like, it's like this constant pattern of her stealing the boyfriends, and now that she's having problems, she's like, well, guess I'm just gonna go back to my old ways. She I definitely think that could be a possibility. I don't think that it's like a good thing by any way, shape, or form. So whether she's jealous, whether she doesn't want her husband to get murdered, or
I mean, I don't mind if my husband gets murdered. So yeah, maybe. Listeners.
As long as all beneficiary information is filled out correctly.
Got to get that insurance money.
Yeah,
that's true. There are some women out there who would like their sisters to kill their husbands. There's no women out there who want their sisters to sleep with their husbands. So I think definitely, I think if I'm this lady, I'm hoping it's Justin's thing and not my thing, because I think the sister is just kind of breaking the glass ceiling on the weird sexual fetishes for watching sleeping people. Normally, that's a dude sport. You know what I mean? The weird, creepy, I just want to stare at you.
You look so peaceful when you're sleeping.
I have a snore kink. Yeah.
What are you doing? Oh, just watching you sleep.
I jerk off to mattress commercials.
Yeah. But that being said, I used to know this guy that his mother would openly say, she would say, I hope my husband dies before I do, just so I have a few years to myself. Like she was like,
There you
That's
go.
fair.
and the husband's just like,
Oh, like he's in the room,
like he like well if he was, I mean, it's not like they would like spend time together. I mean, that the marriage was at that point, you know.
He's
but
like, I hope I die first.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
it's just she's just like, I just hope I have a few years to myself, and everyone's kind of like, yeah, I hope you do too. You know, I guess like this guy was like it was like it wasn't like the dad, it was like the stepdad, you know, and
But
whatever.
that's the way
This is
for
such a
most women.
new
They get a
one.
few years for themselves. You know,
Yeah,
most men
it's
die
just,
first.
you know, you want to sleep in a couple Sundays.
I you know, and the thing is, I really hope that she doesn't kill this guy. Not just because that's wrong, but like the lady writing the question. If her sister murders her husband, she's not gonna have a good alibi for this. She's like, "What? I didn't tell my sister to do it." Sure, you didn't.
Yeah.
Your sister just decided to kill your husband on her own, huh?
Yeah, I think it would be difficult to prove that you weren't in some way, shape, or
Yeah.
form involved.
If your sister does kill your husband, please write into the show so we can do a follow-up episode.
To know that we at least commented that
I
it's
do
a
wonder
possibility.
too if the author of this post has she ever watched her sister's husband sleep? Like, is there a true like?
Yeah.
I'd be curious. Like, is the maybe?
Oh, that's a
maybe
great
he's-
idea. What if she
Yeah.
does the
She
exact
should-
same
She
thing?
should test it.
Goes over.
See how it is. Yeah, and
Yeah.
spy on him.
Yeah.
When he's sleeping.
Hey.
Yeah. Just wait for the sister to get home, and then she walks into the bedroom like, "Oh, what are you doing?" And she's like, "How you like this shit, huh?" No.
A man
Staring at him.
sleeping is not a pretty sight. I don't even see the
But
appeal.
it's funny that you said that, because when I watch my fiance sleep, all I can think is, and I love him, don't get me wrong, but all I can think is, you motherfucker.
It's disgusting.
Yeah. It's like he also has this like super annoying way that he sleeps. It's like he's taking a school photo. It's like his head's on the pillow and then he like this.
No.
So
he
his
thinks-
so I'm not
he does
kidding.
the thinker?
Wow.
He does the thinker while he's sleeping. So he's sat
Thinking
there.
while he's dreaming.
He's laying there like this, and then he's got a little shit-faced grin on his face. So here's how he sleeps.
He's like
That's
a smug
so-
sleeper. You got a smug sleeper.
Yeah.
I'm so annoyed for
I
you.
know. And so when I wake up in the middle of the night, it's 3:00, my brain's, worrying, like I can't go back to sleep, and I look over and I see that smug little shit. Of course, I'm just like, fuck you.
They need a sleep mask for you. Just
Yeah.
cut that
If
off.
you're filled with anxiety, you don't want to see anyone having good sleep.
Yeah.
No.
And again, it's the fist under it's this.
Those should be my Z's.
Yeah. Anyway. But yeah, so
Joel on YouTube says, "Hang on, is this sister named Lorena?"
Oh, boy.
Tyler on YouTube
Oh.
says, "Rim shot on that." Joel on YouTube says, "I'm quite concerned with the thought of my wife's husband being murdered. Call me selfish." Yeah, I do like the idea of her sister killing this guy because she thinks the sister wants her to do it. And she's like, "I can read between the lines. I'm picking up all the I get
we had
it.
a
Wink,
secret
wink.
language when we were little.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. So.
You wish he'd quit snoring so much, right? Like forever, like permanently. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. I can take a hint."
yeah. Well, my final advice is, obviously, like as we've said, we've given, sometimes like there's a very hard and clear truth to the question that we're answering. This one there's a lot of different ways that this could go. I mean, this isn't just a fork in the road. This is like a.
Oh yes, like and subscribe to the podcast. I forgot to say
yeah,
that at the
like and
beginning. Like and
subscribe.
subscribe.
Right
But
here.
yes,
yes.
Wherever that is.
But yeah. So again,
There it is.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of different ways to go about this question. So my final advice is sit your sister down and say, just be very clear and do not let her get up until she answers why she's watching your husband. Because then maybe it is for something that's totally innocent.
She could be a sleep researcher.
Yeah.
Maybe she's doing
Etc.
stuff.
I
But if
don't
she
care
gives
if
some
she's a
bullshit
goddamn
excuse again,
sleepyologist that was studied at Harvard. This is
Yeah.
still weird if you're not telling me or
Yeah.
the husband,
Yeah. So what are the final advice we have
I
for
wish
this
they
person?
were called sleepyologists.
I don't just know a thing or two about nights. I'm a goddamn sleepyologist. Joel on YouTube says, "I'm convinced that if Suzanne's fiance dies early, it will be a pillow over the face." Yeah, dude, Suzanne is definitely the murdery one in this situation.
What other final advice do we have for this question?
Well, you definitely got to confront her, and there's no not weird reason for her to do this. There's only weird and weirder.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you got to hopefully give her the benefit of the doubt and just think it's kind of weird, but you definitely got to ask her.
Get a nanny cam.
Yeah.
Put it in the bedroom.
Yeah, you got to record her doing it because she will deny it.
And record it. Maybe she's doing something even weirder than you think. You know.
Yeah.
Maybe she's sitting there. You know.
She's
who
clipping it.
knows?
She's
I
like
don't
clipping
know.
his toenails or something.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, she's smelling.
Open up your
maybe
purse.
she's
You have
sm-
6 months worth
Yeah.
of toenails, don't
Maybe
you?
she gets close and smells his hair. Like, you want to know what's
Yeah.
going on.
Yeah.
Taking little
Head and
offerings,
shoulders.
totems. Yeah.
Yeah. I agree with that. Well, perfect. Well, I think we answered that question. Any other final advice, or move on to the next one?
Yeah, I think definitely tape her. I do like the idea of staring at her husband, see how she likes that shit, you know? Maybe she's it's either going to be a bonding experience for you both, or she's way too territorial over sleeping dudes.
Yeah, it's I don't get a hard on until I see some dude sleeping, and I know it's almost like sort of like a college dormy dude kind of move. But listen,
My least favorite thing about all the sex that I've had with men is that they were awake every time.
amazing. Well, I think we answered that
She's
question.
giving dudes Viagra and NyQuil.
I think we answered that question. Let's move on to the next question.
Next question from the wild animals on Reddit. Write us at loveguruspodcast@yahoo.com with your questions, or even better, ask them live on YouTube every single Thursday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern. We're going to take another one from the crazy people on Reddit.
Next question. Should I prevent my ex from marrying his affair partner?
Oh.
I'm 39 and found out that my ex-husband, who's 41, had an affair with a 25-year-old woman while I was pregnant.
Oh, wow.
He asked me to forgive him, but I couldn't, so we got a divorce. A few months later, he got engaged to her. He has, however, never stopped telling me how regretful and remorseful he was at the times, that he was angry because I moved on so easily, quote unquote. I didn't move on easily at all.
Wow,
It was
this
hard.
is a real. This guy's a real glasses half empty son of a bitch, man.
It was hard being a single mom and losing the love of my life, but I guess not dying and spiraling down into despair is, quote unquote, moving on easily for him. They're getting married in a week, and last night he showed up at my apartment at 11 p.m. crying and asking for a second chance. We then had sex. The
Oh,
best
my.
in years. And God, do I miss his body.
Whoa.
I have no intention of getting back together with him, but should I prevent their marriage? Pros of preventing their marriage are, I don't like or trust her. Also another pro, vengeance. They both broke up my marriage. Third is just revenge on him. He loses both women. Cons of this scenario are that I live by the saying, the best revenge is living well, and obviously I wouldn't be. Or two, I would complicate my already complicated co-parenting relationship with him. So, that being said, should I break up my ex's marriage?
Wow.
Amy says, "Do it. Do it now."
I mean, this one is really complicated, and I also kind of like have a lot of respect for her because she's sort of like, she gets cheated on whilst pregnant, has the baby, is a single mom, and she's just like, yeah, I'm gonna do this on my own. I'm gonna be a single mom. Like, obviously they're co-parenting, but then she can have sex with him, and she's not like. She doesn't romanticize it. She's just like, yeah, we fucked and I really missed his washboard abs, but I'm not a desperate bitch. Like, she just
She kicked
is.
him out. I'm sure she
Yeah,
was like,
she
get out
didn't
of
even
here.
let him cuddle or
Yeah.
shower afterwards.
Yeah, she had
just
sex with him,
kicked
but then
out. as
soon as the guy woke up, she was like, "I'm not into this anymore. Get out."
Yeah, she
Wait.
just had just emotionally cut him off and is like this. Her only qualm is, well, he's the father of my child. Should I save him from a bad marriage or not? I mean, I don't know. I mean, maybe she's a little bit of a psychopath. I don't know.
When you, I mean, if your significant other cheated on you, especially while you're pregnant, nonetheless, wouldn't you kind of want them to be in a shitty relationship? Like, wouldn't you want them to be kind of miserable?
That's
like,
the payback.
yeah. It's I wouldn't, if I, like, don't get me wrong, I would be, like, jealous, but, like, once I'm past that, I'm like, marry Ted Bundy. Fuck you.
Yeah. Again, like, the question is not at all, should I take him back? Should I accept him back?
It's not about rekindling
it's not
anything.
about that at all.
Yeah.
Her question is, should I just save my baby daddy from getting into a bad marriage? That's her moral dilemma.
I don't even think it's that. I think
No?
it's, should I make sure he doesn't marry this other woman so he's alone? Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, that's what I was
she
kind of
wants
reading
him
that
to
way
be
too,
alone. But I think no, because like clearly you're doing fine, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you break up this other relationship, that 25-year-old, she's not there yet. She's not grizzled like you.
Well,
and the other side
but
of
it is
like,
but it is a big age difference because he's 41, she's 25.
right? But she's gonna as soon as the 25-year-old's out of the picture, like he's already sniffing around you. It's gonna get worse. He's gonna be coming over all the time.
Oh, yeah. He's
Good
never going to leave you
point.
alone.
Yeah,
Very good point.
You need to keep him occupied with something else some of the time.
I think it was fate that drove that young skank away.
It's almost
Let's hook up again.
it's almost as if like she should allow this to happen for the same reason that you pay a 13-year-old to watch your children.
I
It's like
she might be a good babysitter.
Yeah,
If
she's
still
just
25, she's
as-
got a lot of energy. Maybe.
Oh, that's a good
She
point.
can put up with an immature spouse.
Yeah.
So.
Tyler on YouTube says, wow, this guy sounds like my dad with my mom when they got a divorce. Producer Amy says, that 25-year-old is still young enough to be adopted. Joel on YouTube said, I think this is an old one. This is from the last question. He says, a nanny cam on the surface is a great idea. I was for that. Then my wife hired a pool boy. Joel said he hasn't touched the pool yet. Joanne on YouTube says, don't break them up. Totally let them get married and tell her at the honeymoon when they are alone in Mexico. Yeah, dude. That's the way to do it. Send them some room service. Like, oh, my God, somebody sent champagne. And it has a letter and a picture of, oh, my God.
And they're only a week away from the wedding.
Yeah.
This is like drop dead time. There's no refunds at this point.
We are final deposit at this space.
Let's be honest. This guy's not putting up for a big wedding. Like he's
this
he's
guy's
like,
not.
look, why don't we just elope?
Yeah.
Dude, if I ever have a second wedding with a girl half my age, we're getting Mickey D's.
Can't we just go to the courthouse? I did the big wedding thing already one time.
Well, so one of the reasons why I picked this question on the podcast is because it's very often that people will post questions that say along the lines of like, I know so-and-so cheated. Should I tell? And it's a bunch of different scenarios. It's, it's my best friend. It's my brother. It's my, whatever. And in general, I am always like, listen, it's kind of none of your business. It's not your relationship to, go in there and blow it up. However, in this instance, again, the reason why it intrigues me is, again, because she's just all like, yeah, fuck what? Oh, I guess,
And I got a pro and con
Yeah,
list. I'm prepared. Yeah,
Yeah,
Right.
dude, this lady knows how to party. She sounds like fun.
Yeah.
At no point does she ever consider the fact that it was a bad idea to fuck this guy.
Yeah.
No.
She's
And
just
at no
like,
point is she like, I want him back. I miss him.
she's like, oh, I'm sorry. Did you need me to explain the meaning of consent to you? A man who wants to fuck and a woman who wants to fuck. Oh, because that's what we did. Like, it's
She's got her
apology.
She's got her shit together.
Yeah,
You know?
and that's what I love about this person. Again, but her thing is like, listen, but obviously there is that investment because it involves her daughter, and so arguably the future stepmother, et cetera, et cetera. So I think my advice for this woman is, look, I mean, first of all, you do you, because I feel like you're doing great. Secondly, I think of it in a way of this 25-year-old person, and again, I'm sure there's probably like 18-year-olds that are more mature than I am. Like, age doesn't really, I think, factor in that much, in my opinion. But if you don't want
age is just a number, as R. Kelly said.
yeah, and
the law says differently to him.
If only he could read, he could have read that law, and he would be in way less trouble.
But yeah, I'm just saying, look at it from a perspective of, are you fine, even if she's not the best, but would you be fine with this woman being your child's stepmother? Because that's what's going to happen. If the answer is no, you're very uncomfortable with that, then yeah, send her a little text, maybe send her a dick pic from your bedroom from the night before, etc.
Yeah.
And then if they still go through the marriage, whatever, you at least like put, said your piece, all that and the rest. But if you think that she's actually, she's probably a good, person, or she could come round, whatever, yeah, then I don't know. It's not really your place.
Right. Yeah.
I feel like it's weird to have like the affair actually becomes the marriage.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
They actually went through the whole arc of it. So I mean, this 25-year-old knows what she's in for with this guy.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
it's
because
also very romantic.
he's obviously not going to be loyal to the 25-year-old. Well, he
'Cause, like,
already hasn't been, but he's a serial cheater.
Yeah.
Her
Like,
frontal cortex just detached. She did not see consequences. So,
No.
so it's just like
She needs a prenup, is
When-
what I'm
when
saying.
I
I don't know
was-
if this is gonna
We want
last.
prenup.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So-
when
Lawyer up.
when I was a youth like that, I remember when I was 25, and I was hanging out with my aunt and uncle once, and they were talking about people who cheat.
Oh.
And my uncle and aunt both
As
were
aunts
like,
and uncles.
if somebody cheats, I don't want to know. If he cheated on me, I wouldn't want to know. If she cheated on me, I wouldn't want to know. And I was
Oh,
25, and
wow.
I was like, what are you talking about? Of course you would want to know.
Right.
And they were like, no.
Ah.
I don't want to know. Don't tell me. Don't say anything. No, if you see it, don't say anything.
Yeah.
I'd rather just live in ignorance. And now that I'm
It's almost as if
now
they-
that I'm their age, when I heard that from
Yeah.
them, I'm like, yeah, I wouldn't want to know either.
I don't know,
Fuck
but
that. I'm still a 25-year-old heart. I would want to know so I could dump her ass. So I could dump her for a 25-year-old.
Just going back to this, it's almost though as if that's such a specific thing to say to you, like, and also to come up in context in a family situation. It's almost like they think you saw something that you actually didn't see.
No.
Ah.
And so the aunt is like, Justin,
We were talking
Yeah.
about
just so you know your uncle's point of view.
we were talking about somebody else at the time.
Okay.
And like a mutual like family friend, and I just now I agree, right? I would rather remain in blissful ignorance,
Yeah.
and just keep sitting on the couch watching TV. We have a few good times every once in a while, and then she goes off on Thursday nights to
Yeah.
salsa with her friends, and I just don't fucking know, and I'd be happy with that.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But if I found out, I would be in such misery.
Yeah.
It would just not be worth
It's
it.
a weird selfish
Yeah.
choice. I still do
Wow.
like the idea that you kind of came in when they had the Wilsons over and they were all dressed in leather and everything, and they scurried out of the living room like as soon as the door opened. They were like, "Did they see the Wilsons in the leather? We should maybe address this a little bit. Let's hint. Let's just
Yeah.
drop a hint and see if he catches on."
Yeah.
Tyler on YouTube says, 40-year-old dating a 25-year-old, robbing the cradle much? Yeah, man. I mean, and most of the time, when the 25-year-old sleeping with the 40-year-old married dude, I always tell those 25-year-olds, I say, girl, he ain't going to leave his wife for you, girl. You just the side piece, But then it's cool to see a success story out of that. That never happens.
That is
That's
true.
a great angle.
It is
It's a Hallmark movie.
It is
Uh-huh.
one.
Right
It
here.
is one rare win for the AP community. Am I right?
Yeah.
What would that Hallmark movie be called? Is the question.
Side chick day.
It's Santa came twice. I don't know. Like it's got,
Christmas
it has
theme?
to like have Christmas
Yeah.
in it. Yeah.
Yeah, it
I
has
can
to be
hear the
Christmas.
Christmas jingle
Yeah.
bells
Yeah.
in there.
Santa, maybe Boxing Day since that's after.
How about a ring for the side piece?
Yeah,
That's
yeah. It's a good way. But yeah. So what other final advice do we have for this person?
I would, or I guess that she could also give the guy she could like ask him if he's gonna fess up to his lady.
Ooh, make him
But
think he's
Okay.
going to do
make
it.
him like but I don't know, like
Maybe like, but
Like,
are you saying ask him if he's going to say anything or threaten? Just
I
say
guess
if you don't
that's
say
the
something,
choice. Yeah. Do you
then-
want to tell her?
Yeah.
Do you want
Even if you have
someone
no
else to tell
intention
her?
to.
Right.
Yeah.
Or do you plan on telling
yeah.
her?
I think the best revenge is living well. She should go with her gut and just.
Yeah. Like I
Let it
said,
be.
just because I think that this person has her head screwed on right.
And she'll always have that in her back pocket too. I mean, there's something.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hold on to it.
Every time if they annoy her, she can just be like, "Oh, I know a secret. I know something."
Right. Wait until they're 10 years in.
And also, the other thing is, it's a little Jim and Pam from The Office, except for the sex part. Like, you know, it's like Jim always liked Pam. Then Jim broke up with his girlfriend for Pam. You know what I mean? Like, it's a little Jim and Pam.
In the new reboot of The Office, he has left her for a 25-year-old. Jim in the future is kind of a fucking dick, man. He ended up getting promoted, started driving sports cars, doing lots of blow, hanging out at strip clubs.
You lose a little bit of hair. People don't look at you for a while.
He's way fat and bald now.
Then someone with daddy issues comes by. They take a look at you, and all of a sudden you're like, I've lost control of my senses.
Yeah.
Well, I think probably the best technical advice would be to live well, but we know you're not gonna because you're on Reddit talking about doing the opposite. So don't live well. I say go to that wedding like Dustin Hoffman in The Graduate and just bang on that glass and go, I fucked the groom last week. I fucked the groom last week.
Odds are there might be someone else that also fucked the groom.
There's a line.
There's a chance. There might be a few. Yeah.
That is also sound advice.
Yeah, 100%. Dustin Hoffman, Graduate.
That's actually like in Love Actually, when they have that choir that's like, all you need is love. All we did is fuck the groom last week, but there's like 20 people.
It's gonna turn into that like the end of Spartacus. I fucked the groom. No, I fucked the groom. Like, what? You're his aunt. What are you talking about?
And apparently he cries a lot, so it'll be very dramatic. It's gonna be like
much better movie reference.
Terrible lay when he's awake. I give him the NyQuil and the Viagra.
What did you expect from me? She's the mother of my child. It was a mistake. It was a one-time mistake.
I have to come clean. I cheated on you with the mother of my child.
It was a moment of weakness when I had cold feet.
What kind of a man cheats on his side piece with the mother of his child?
Look,
you're gonna burn in hell.
Don't cry. Let's go get Dairy Queen. It's gonna be fun.
Amazing, awesome. Well, I think we answered that question.
Absolutely.
Let's do definitely one more and then maybe a quick one just based on time.
All righty. Next question on the Love Gurus Podcast. People write in at loveguruspodcast@yahoo.com. Watch live every Thursday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern. Give us your questions live in the chat or your comments. But for now, we're going to hear one from the wild animals on Reddit.
Next question. I sleep talk and tell my boyfriend secrets in my sleep, and it's making me insecure. I'm 22, my boyfriend's 23. We often sleep in the same bed, and he only recently divulged that I sleep talk almost every night. I have
hear
been
secrets that you keep when you're talking in your sleep.
Yeah. We've only been together for. I've only been doing this for the last 4 months, and first it was cute things that he would let me in, like saying his name while I was putting a finger on him. I'll tell him every night, I love you most in my sleep.
Wow.
Then it escalated to a finger in him, and now it's getting really weird.
I'll nibble on him occasionally. I'll tell him to not leave me, but it's not all peachy, and that's why I'm struggling. Then I'd say that I hate my sister in my sleep. I vent about her a lot, but I don't hate her. It makes sense that I'm just saying something, but it's not true. Then I said that he was chubby. My boyfriend is fit. But we both let ourselves go a lot in the last few months. It's been beginning to bother me, but not to the point of saying anything to him, and I love him regardless what he looked like. Another was before we were official. I'd tell him about other guys that I was texting while I slept. What? I only went on 2 dates with other guys, and our talks were unofficial. He then later said at a different date that I've told him I've cheated on him, and this is where it's truly alarming.
Wow, now she's making up
never
secrets.
Have.
That's awesome.
When we had our most dense problems, I fantasized about being out of our relationship while we worked through it. But there were men in my life that I'd fantasize about, but I felt like it was because I was miserable, not because I would ever cheat. He told me that he never wanted to tell me because he wouldn't have blamed me. And he obviously takes everything I say with a grain of salt when I'm asleep. And he also
penicillin now.
He He also wants me to be comfortable while sleeping next to him, but now I'm not. I'm at a loss because I love him, and obviously I want to sleep next to him, but I can't comfortably do so. What do I do? So to give a quick synopsis, basically what happens is she just like tells her shit in her sleep.
Man.
And he sits there, and he's only just told her 4 months in.
Oh, dude, you're accidentally your own informant every time you fucking go to sleep. Literally a third of your day is spent snitching on yourself.
First of all, 4 months in is too early to be getting fat together.
Yeah.
Right? This relationship is done. It's headed for the rocks, I think. I mean, even if you haven't done anything, maybe this guy's just dreaming all of this stuff and he's insecure. It just seems so bizarre to me.
So maybe he's making this up to try to catch her. Maybe he's like, yeah, you were sleep talking last night and you said this, and he's starting with a few true ones.
Yeah.
And then he's going, and you told me about that guy that you're cheating on me with.
I think there's...
Your friend Eric, you went to that party with last week. You said something about him in a dream.
Yeah.
It's definitely very odd because I think that unless you've always been a sleep talker or you've started taking medication, if you start taking Ambien or something like that, if neither of those are true, it's, I think, very unusual for people to become a sleep talker in there. Again, I'm not a sleepyologist. Isn't that what we've
Right.
I'm a
Yeah.
established as a...
sleepyologist.
If there's a sleepyologist out there on YouTube, if you could write in.
Sleepyologist was the fanciest of the seven dwarves.
Yeah. I'm not a sleepyologist, but I'm just saying, I think in general, if you haven't always been a sleep talker and or you haven't started taking some sort of sleeping medication, for you to just start talking in your sleep seems weird. It does seem, and so maybe it is the boyfriend
That's
totally messing with her, because that also does
Or
sound...
is he doping her? But no.
Maybe because also he could be using it as like a sense of control of like, you've said this, you did this, and she's like, oh my god, now again, like, to me, it's almost like a pattern of like abusive behavior of like him controlling how she sleeps. Like, you guys are getting so inventive these days. Before it used to be you just telling us we aren't pretty. Now it's you're telling us what we say in our sleep.
Anytime somebody's trying to like question or anytime someone's making you feel insecure, you should question like, what are you insecure about? You should flip it on them. Turn it around.
Yeah.
Sure.
But again,
is this really about me?
That's pattern.
Maybe
But
he's
that's
self-conscious. About,
so you're saying that maybe he started telling her this because of the fat comment.
Yeah, or he was feeling self-conscious about
Could
that,
be.
so then he's projecting something.
Oh, Joel on YouTube says, my cocaine intake has drastically increased since my wife told me I talk in my sleep. Yeah, dude, take a fucking no-nos. Don't go out like this, chump. All right?
Yeah.
Don't snitch on yourself or make shit up you didn't do. Joel on YouTube says, Tyler is a sleepyologist. He can't answer your questions right now, though. He's napping. Joanne on YouTube says, pretend to be asleep and say something to throw him off her track.
Joanne is a
Oh,
genius.
Yeah.
I've been
this is
lying about
powerful.
cheating. I make a lot of shit up when I sleep.
I have a venereal
Everything should be
disease.
taken with a grain of salt and not penicillin.
I love your fat body.
Well,
Dad bods are hot.
I think that it's certainly, it's, I'm not saying it's never happened on the podcast before, but I think the same advice as question number one applies for this question, which is what Justin said. We need to get a nanny cam. We need to get some sort of third party, unbiased recording of what's actually going on. And then we can be like, oh, okay, you know.
Send the clip.
But again, you can't tell him about it. Just wait until he says, last night you told me that you wanted to go see the Minions movie. And then you're there and you're like, I only want to see Tom Cruise in Top Gun, whatever, like,
Also,
get the
Top
facts.
Gun was so
another
good.
example of somebody watching someone sleep. Dude, go to sleep.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Yeah.
Go to sleep.
Quit being creepy.
I don't know, man.
Quit being
I would
creepy.
want it, dude. I'm kind of on this guy's side a little bit because here's the thing. I know you're telling the truth because there's no reason you would lie to the internet like that, you know? Normally when people lie, they leave out details in these questions. I don't think she's lying at all. Here's the thing, though. If I was the dude, no way I'd believe her on this. There's no fucking way. If she started telling me things that were true in her sleep and then goes, I'm fucking a guy, I'm like, yeah, she's definitely fucking a guy named Frank. Like, there's no way. There's no way I would believe her. Not without a polygraph. Even then, I'd want a second one because I'd be like, I heard you can beat these things.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's definitely like, she says something in her sleep and then he's going through her phone while
Oh,
she's
yeah,
sleeping.
dude, 100%. I would be going through her phone or everything. I try to not be one of those, like, jealous guys that's paranoid and all. But if my wife ever says in her sleep, I'm cheating on my husband, what the fuck? I'm sure it was nothing.
Come
It
on.
seems so
You would never
coherent.
hear her talking in her sleep.
It seems so strange. Like, I guess, like, I think once my husband told me I was talking in my sleep and I said, birds!
Right.
That was about it. So, but she's like having whole sentences that
She's
connect
sleeping
with
with Larry
reality.
Bird.
She's
Yeah.
reading text messages
Last
in her sleep.
Thursday,
This is so specific.
I
Yeah,
went to the
yeah.
comfort
Like,
inn
yeah.
with Gary.
Time step.
Yeah.
9:05
We were in
p.m.
room number 403.
If
I
you
think
scroll
my
down to
boyfriend
my
is
messages.
fat. Yeah.
I mean, my dreams are about like flying frogs. Like I don't
Right.
know what this is so
Yeah.
specific.
And
I
that's-
don't really dream.
And
of
I
it.
agree. I agree with what Sydney's saying. Like, I haven't had like a ton of experience with sleep talkers, but it's always like, things that make no sense. It'll just be like, tan walls always
Yeah.
ruin your fans. Whatever, you know what I mean? It's something that like absolutely does not even make sense.
Yeah.
And so the fact that she's like basically stating, you know, she's reading from, you know, some sort of like Walter Cronkite monologue. Like, what are
Right.
you talking
Yeah.
about?
Right.
Like, that's not how sleep talking works. Like, I
This
don't
could
know.
be some other thing. I don't know if she's like half asleep, half awake, and is just recounting her whole damn day.
Right.
Or something. Like,
Just reading the minutes.
Yeah.
that he, I don't know if it's purely just an innocent thing. He owes her a lot of secrets or something. I feel like there's an
Maybe-
imbalance of secrets here. She's
okay.
owed many, many secrets.
Maybe
Yeah.
if
They
he
could
was
be
a,
mundane ones, but
Yeah.
I don't know.
maybe if he was a better listener, she wouldn't have to talk at night.
Whoa!
I tried telling him I was cheating on him yesterday. He won't shut up. Keeps talking about the goddamn Top Gun movie. I don't.
Yeah.
I didn't like the first one. I'm not
Yeah.
going to see the second one with you.
Yeah.
You've already seen it. Why do you want to see it again?
God.
Oh, Joanne on YouTube says, and then start a crack addiction and never sleep again. Yeah, absolutely. Joel on YouTube says, nanny cams should come with a discount coupon for a divorce attorney. Joel on YouTube says, screw the polygraph. I got my name wrong twice while taking one. Go through the phone. Yeah, absolutely. Tyler on YouTube says, not napping. Dawn called. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Tell her we said what's up. Tell her to like and subscribe to the podcast. Like and subscribe to the podcast.
She's saying that in her sleep. Like,
yes.
subscribe.
Like and subscribe to the
Yeah.
Love Gurus podcast.
Yeah. But yeah, my final advice for this person is, definitely have some sort of like hidden camera, hidden nanny cam, and then so the next time that he says this to you, just have that backed up. And if if you could say, yeah, you're right, like I am saying that if that's true, then you need to have a conversation with him that he, again, what you say in your sleep, and that needs to be like an agreed thing. Because like that's a really shitty thing if you're sleeping in the same bed as
Yeah.
someone you don't feel safe. Like that's not okay. But also, again, because it's the problem. Well, the thing is you. The thing that's out there is you. It's not like, if you change boyfriends, it's not necessarily going to solve the problem.
Yeah. If
Which
you keep
most of
telling
the time it
That's a good
does.
point.
Most of the time it does. You just get a new one.
She has to date a
You just put
hard
your-
of hearing.
yeah.
Someone who's hard of hearing.
Yeah. You just
That's
put your
who she
quarter
needs.
into the vending
Yeah.
machine. You get another one out that's hard of hearing. It's very easy.
Yeah.
They've
You
got
could-
them at the
Did
beginning
this
of
never
Walmart.
hit her at a sleepover when she was a kid. She wasn't yakking away. I don't know.
Yeah.
You can find a
funny
man who will
things
sleep
here.
through some talking. That's not
A
hard.
heavy
yeah.
sleeper.
Yeah.
She needs a
100%.
heavy sleeper, like
Yeah.
the guy from the first
Yeah.
question, who apparently
Or like
sleeps
my
while this
fiance
woman's
that
running
sleeps
around.
like this.
Yeah.
Maybe she.
Whenever a significant other talks to me, I fall asleep instantly. So
Maybe he is the one who listens to this podcast, and she's trying to throw him off the trail.
Oh, there we go. There we go.
Maybe. Yeah.
Joel on YouTube says, Dawn doesn't say like and subscribe in her sleep. She says, why did I pick Tyler? or so I've been told. I like to roasting each other in the comments.
So what other final advice do we
Like
have?
and subscribe. Well, first of all, like and subscribe to the podcast. That is the best advice I can give. But also, I mean, it's tough. Like I said, there's no fucking way I would believe you if I was him. I mean, flip the shoes. If your husband was, or a boyfriend, I guess he's a boyfriend, if he was saying, I cheated on Karen last night, you totally think he cheated on you. Like, well, you know, you'd be stupid not to. You'd be dumb if you just believe, oh, yeah, that's totally normal, talking about cheating on me in my sleep. You're going to have to go to such extreme lengths to prove this to him. You're going to have to hook yourself up to a polygraph after shooting yourself full of sodium pentothal, a truth serum used by the CIA in interrogations. That is the only way I would believe you. Not even just with the polygraph. I'd be like, people can fake those things. And if it was just with the truth serum, I'd be like, it's probably a weak batch, dude. She probably has like a high tolerance or something. I would need both things. That's what you should do. Also, go see a sleep pathologist. Get you one of them sleep apnea machines. Even if this isn't sleep apnea causing you to talk in your sleep, if you have one of those machines on, he's not going to hear you through the mask. It's just going to sound like that.
You know what? You're right. He's never getting over this. Find a new man.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, it sucks, man. It's not your
Time
fault.
to visit the man vending machine.
Look,
Yeah.
just chalk this up to a loss. It's only been 4 months. Move on.
Yeah.
Right.
He's already getting chubby, you said, so.
Let himself go.
It's not going to get better.
Yeah. It doesn't get better in this
Joel on
situation.
YouTube says, as much as I comment, I should charge my name to life. To like and subscribe. I should change my name to like and subscribe. Absolutely. Yes.
Yeah.
Like and subscribe, people. Like and subscribe. Change your names to like and subscribe. No, it's all right. You don't have to do that. But
Awesome.
definitely like and subscribe. Share us with the world. Tell everybody to like and subscribe. Joel says, I'll save time. You can read comments and promote at the same time. Yeah, that's genius, man.
Awesome. Well, so I think we answered that question. Let's do the last question, but let's do it in a lightning round fashion.
Let's do
Producer Amy, if c'est possible.
Question 5. Question 5.
Yeah, so question 5.
All right, last question on the Love Gurus podcast. People, give us your questions at loveguruspodcast@yahoo.com, or even better, watch live every single Thursday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern. Give us a question live on the show right there in the chat, and like and subscribe. Do not forget to like and subscribe, most of all. But for now, we are going to take our last question from the wild animals on Reddit. Question 5 on the overlays.
So last question. And the way we do lightning round is I'm going to read the question, and then we'll just quickly go around and give our final advice for this question. So this question is, my boyfriend thought that we were breaking up and unloaded to his family about me. We had a big fight, and tempers were high, alcohol was involved. He broke it off, and then he went to a family barbecue where he shared a lot of our personal struggles with his family. He did not mention to them his own personal involvement in the situation and just how horrible I was specifically. 2 family members already blocked me on social media. His family is very much the coddling type who would definitely not think that he had any involvement.
And one of them unsubscribed from my podcast. No!
We went to couples therapy and are giving our relationship another try.
wow.
He obviously has a very large family, and we go there nearly every weekend. He just keeps telling me that it's the consequences of my actions. And so I've had to deal with figuring out what to do with his family. My question is, how do I go about navigating this situation? So I'll start off, and I'll give my final advice. So one thing that is annoying about this question, to be fair, is that there's no details as far as how old they are, how long they've been together, but one can infer that since they went to couples therapy, this is like a long relationship. Like, you don't go to couples therapy if you're like 22 and dating for 2 months. But so I'm gonna guess that
If so, you're the most boring 22-year-olds.
yeah. It's called the bar. Get involved. So-
Joel on YouTube says, I saw question 4 pop up and was going to say things my wife has never said. What was question 4?
It was an old. It wasn't
Was
even
somebody being too big?
Yeah, it was like an old question that I don't even know. Yeah, it was like
Oh
dirty
yeah.
too.
That was number 8. That was from when we did the live show because we had a bunch of questions.
Oh yeah. But anyway, so my final advice. So basically, what's happened is that he thought that they were breaking up. He went to a family barbecue, slagged her off to his whole family, and now his whole family is like, "No, we hate you." I would just.
Producer Amy says, "Stop calling me out, Joel."
In that situation, I would just show up to the barbecue, and then the first person who's cold to you, give your side of the story and say, "Oh, you know what? Actually," but start with the mom. Start with the mom or whoever is the head of the family, and say, "This is what happened. This, this is my side of the story. Please just listen to it. Just know that there's like obviously fault on both sides. Don't like throw him in the doghouse because obviously they're biased to him. Give both sides of the story, and then if they don't listen to you, fuck that family. You just got your Saturdays back, bitch. What?
The hell with them.
We are going to the beach. Like, why are you fighting to go to a family function every weekend? Are you crazy?
That's right, girl. You're a strong, independent woman. Don't need no man's family.
Yeah,
Wow.
don't need no. Yeah. Anyway.
You really are a love guru.
Fuck yeah, dude.
That is brilliant advice.
Damn straight.
Why are you fighting to go to a family
Yeah.
function?
I mean,
Yeah.
how good is this
You're like,
barbecue?
I'm sick of
Really?
I'm sick of the way they
Right.
treat me. I'm gonna go, hang out at the movies, and you go to your
Yeah.
family.
Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah.
You block me, I block you. Like,
Yeah.
it's-
Yeah.
Oh,
Go
Anyway.
block
amazing
yourself.
advice.
That's
Block
so,
yourself right in the face.
yeah. So that's what I would say. What other final advice do you guys have for this person?
Gosh, well, my gut is always about watch them sleeping or nanny cams. I don't know if that's gonna work.
Nanny cam, the whole damn family.
Yeah.
Nanny cams, but I don't know. This guy's telling tales to his family a little too readily. I don't know. The couples therapist should be getting in there and telling him to stop that.
Yeah.
Stop that. Or
Yeah.
why are you doing that? What's the goal? Why are you trashing your girlfriend to your family, but you're still working on the relationship? I can understand venting to a couple people,
Right.
but
There's venting and
Yeah.
then there's being a
to
douche.
everyone,
But
you're
going-
you're like
but-
standing up at the barbecue, like, "Hey, everyone,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
have a toast. My girlfriend's a bitch." Like,
Yeah.
what?
Going-
You know
Going
that
to
lady
your-
I've been bringing here every weekend? She's a K-U-N-T. Can't block her. Unfollow her podcast.
To go to a family barbecue and go scorch earth on your girlfriend is
Yeah.
a choice.
Holy fuck.
I mean, anyway, okay, but
Yeah,
yeah,
the couples therapy is not gonna work.
Yeah,
Look,
it's like
this is
yeah,
a nice, easy out for you.
yeah. You think,
You know.
yeah? So you're saying just out for her overall?
Yeah, who's paying for this couples therapy? Is it you? Definitely leave. If it's him, go for a few more sessions and then leave. You
Yeah.
know?
or his whole family should be chipping in. I mean, apparently
Just-
they're involved.
Stop doing the couples
should-
part when you get there and just start working on yourself for a while.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Yeah, Jake, what's your final advice? For this
First of all, Joel on YouTube said the question was that popped up was, my partner lasts too long in bed. Little bit of a humble brag. Little glasses half full kind of problem. Oh, I won the lottery. And now I'm in a higher tax bracket. Wah.
I mean,
that's-
that's always the way it is. My wife does the same thing. Last too long.
Yeah.
That's definitely from the live podcast. Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, is he drunk? That could, yeah. I mean, he maybe might,
that's
has
not the question. We're
because
talking
if you
about
just
the-
have a little bit of whiskey dick, it stands up, but it doesn't. Anyway, Joel on YouTube says, I fight to avoid family functions. They show up at my house. I pack a cooler and stay in the bedroom. Yeah, see, learn from Joel. Why this lady
Yeah, then
sitting
you
there.
still get to eat
Yeah.
the good food, but you don't have to talk to anyone.
Yeah, both
Yeah.
the lady from this question and the lady from my partner lasts too long in bed questions. You complain about a glass that's half full kind of problem. Now you don't have to be around his shitty family. How about that?
Yeah.
You know, because here's the thing. It's not weird for a guy's family to side with him instead of a girlfriend in the dispute. It would be fucking weird if they didn't. Because for one thing, he's their family member, and for two, everything he's telling them is. I try to point this out about the questions each time, like that. I tend to err against the person writing the questions because this is a source by, for, and about them. It's their Fox News, their MSNBC, their North Korean state-run news if they inherited the whole country. So when they leave out little details from a question here, I'm like, okay, they breezed over that, which seems like an important detail because it somehow wouldn't make them look good. It wouldn't help the case that they're trying to make. So, of course, when someone's complaining about a significant other, unless it's really specific shit like, oh, they cheated on me, oh, they abused me, oh, they, if it's just, hey, they're being kind of shitty, and they, it's like, well, yeah, but I mean, I'm hearing one side on this. Like, this is yours. There's two sides to every argument. And I'm hearing that. I'll hear them out. I'm not a fucking douchebag that points that out. Like, well, like I'll hear them out. But like, you got to take that with a grain of salt and know that this is a relationship. They're fighting. This is the person that has the worst things to say about them. So you can't necessarily put all of that on there. And if they're doing that to you, then they fucking sucks. Who needs them?
Well, consequences of her actions, you're right about that. She said that, but then didn't say I didn't do anything.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That was another thing I wanted to point out, is I don't think she went into what she did.
No, she
We did not get that.
No.
So I'm very much against this woman, and if I have you as a friend on Facebook, please let me know, because I will be unfriending and blocking you. I believe
Unless
that
you like and subscribe.
Yeah, exactly. Unless you like and subscribe to podcast. I don't care what evil deeds you did to your boyfriend, which again, you absolutely did, because you didn't say that he was lying. You didn't even say what the hell he said, what they were, that they were apparently bad enough for them to be not only unfriend you, but block you. You did some horrendous shit, Carol Baskin, who honestly I think is innocent anyway, so not a good advice, not a good comparison.
Yeah.
But Joel on YouTube says, beer fills you up. I don't have to eat until they leave. By that time, I'm too drunk to worry about it. Joel says, we need better questions. Jay hasn't recommended anyone kill themselves in at least almost a month. Yeah, well, this I think if there's a candidate for kill yourself, it's the lady who wrote this one.
Joel just wanders into the living room in his tidy whities, and he's like, y'all are still here? How many natty lights have I had?
Awesome. Well, I think we answered that question. I think we answered all the questions. Raw good this week.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you to everybody who listened. Especially thank you to the people on YouTube. Thank you to Joel, to Tyler, to Joanne. Like and subscribe to the podcast. Most important of all. Thank you to producer Amy, killing it with the imaging over there. Thank you to our two awesome guests. Thank you to Justin Auslaender. And thank you to Sydney Beveridge. Until next week. Later.
Bye.